learning English but find it difficult, confusing, even mysterious? Are you an English teacher but find English grammar easier to use than to explain? Well, don't worry. On this show, I'll be your language detective. I'll answer your questions about the English language and help you solve these English mysteries. It's Hard-Boiled English Live. Hello, 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 all you hard-boiled English hammers. Welcome to Hard-Boiled English Live, streaming to you from Vancouver, Canada, to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, FC2, Twitch, and soon Bilibili in China. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Paul Duke, English instructor, coach, tutor, and language detective, here to solve your English mysteries. The format of this show is simple. You ask me questions and I do my best to answer them. To start with, I'd like you to say hello in the comment thread and tell us where you're from. For those of you who don't know me, I am the creator of the YouTube channel Hard-Boiled English with Teacher Paul. And on that channel, you can find my web series English Weirdness, which I make with my students. And this video series explores some of the strange contradictions of English language and some of the more confusing parts that people find challenging as they're learning the language. Once a week, you can also join my regular free Zoom conversation cafe with my co-host student Aya Hioki. We run this every week, Thursday at 7 a.m. Vancouver time, so make sure you figure out when it is for you. This is free, but you do need to register. So go to Facebook, look for Paul Duke or at Hardboiled English, and register for the Conversation Cafe. This is not an English lesson. It's a chance for you to practice your English. If you need extensive help with your English, I'm also available for private lessons, one-on-one, online using Zoom. So contact me at teacherpaul.ca. And go to the email form there and send me a message and tell me what kind of help you need. Okay. Okay, so I want to say hello to start with to Chris Derboven from Belgium. Welcome to the show, Chris. Bargain Betty from the Moon. Hello, hello, hello. We have Wako from Japan joining us. We have Professore Wilson from Ecuador. We have Roni from Bangladesh joining. Thanks for joining as usual, Roni. Great to see you all. On today's show, we're going to look at some new vocabulary. We're also going to answer a couple of questions that are outstanding from a previous episode. One question, I believe, was from Professor Wilson. We'll get to that in a moment. In the meantime, guys, if you're just joining the show, please say hello in the comment thread and tell us what country you're watching from. As you can see, we already have Belgium, Japan, Ecuador, and Bangladesh in the house. Fantastic. Somebody asked me once why I call English learners hammers. Well, it's my little nickname for my students because I always teach my students to work hard and keep hammering. In other words, don't give up. Keep working hard on your learning. Okay, I want to say hello to Mehudin from Bangladesh. We have Jessica from Mexico. Hello, Jessica. Welcome back. Great to see you all, guys. Again, if you're just joining the show, please say hello. Tell us where you're from. And we'll get to work in a moment. I don't know how it is where you are, but today in the news in Vancouver, apparently my city, Vancouver, has recorded the worst air quality in the world today. Now that's unusual. Usually in Vancouver, we have beautiful air. Vancouver is located right on the ocean. Usually we have very clean, very beautiful air and clear skies, but there's a lot of fires nearby in the mountains, and they're producing a lot of smog. So it is very hot in my studio here, and the air is really kind of smoky. Hello to Adam. Adam's joining us from the West Indies. That's fantastic, Adam. Which island are you on, Adam? I'm not sure I know. I know you've been with us before, but I can't remember what island you're on. Who else is joining us? Great to see you all. Thanks for joining. Again, you can now watch us on YouTube, Facebook, several places on Facebook, including my personal profile, Paul Duke, at Hardboiled English, the page, and a group called Learning for High Standards. You can also join us now on LinkedIn, and you can join us on Twitter. I'm actually going to check that. Twitter, FC2, which is a gaming platform in Japan, Twitch, another gaming platform, and very soon we're going to be broadcasting into China on Bilibili. Okay, Adam's from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Fantastic. Yes, we are live on Twitter. And we have Kika joining us from Peru. Welcome, Kika. Yep, long time no see, Kika. How are you? Everything okay? I hope so. Okay, guys, we're going to get to our first segment. And every week, we introduce a new piece of vocabulary. And the reason is I've worked with a lot of students, and they tend to overuse the word good when they want a positive adjective. But as you may know, English has hundreds of great adjectives. So every week, I'm going to teach you a new adjective instead of good. So this segment is called Words to use instead of good. And today's vocabulary word is ineffable. This is a fantastic word, one of my favorites. But what the hell does it mean? Well, ineffable means too great or extreme to be expressed in words. So you're describing something that is so amazing, so awe-inspiring, so beautiful maybe, that you can't even put it into words. Through the centuries, poets, literary writers have tried to describe things like love or an event with this adjective, ineffable. Also, art is often described as ineffable. When you see a piece of art, a painting, listen to a piece of music, often it's described as ineffable. So I'm going to use my example. The Mozart concerto was ineffable. Okay, so the be verb and then the adjective. But you can also use it like this. You can also say, I heard some ineffable music. Right? Or maybe the whales. You know, whales in the ocean, guys, they have this certain language that they make, and it's ineffable. It's hard to describe it. The whales make an ineffable sound. Okay? Describing the noun. Hello to Ohidul Islam from Singapore. And we have Ted Campus. Ted, where are you from? You're on LinkedIn, which is fantastic. But what country are you in? If you see the chat box here, you can see all kinds of countries representing. Welcome to the show, Ted. It's great to have you with us. Okay, guys, so here's what we're going to do. This is what we do every week. Where am I? Oh, yeah. I want you to try to use this word in a sentence. Write your sentence in the comment thread. Okay, give it a try. Remember, it's an adjective, so you'll need a noun to describe. And you can structure it like this. You can have the subject, the be verb, and then the adjective. Or you can have an adjective plus noun. Okay, so Ted's joining us from Japan. Welcome to the show again, Ted. Theodore Campus. Great to see you here. Okay, guys, try using this word. Ineffable. Theodore is originally from Eastern Canada. That's great. I'm a Canadian too. I'm originally from Toronto area. So great to have another Canadian join us. Okay, guys, let me see your sentences. Type them in the comment thread. Let's see what you can do. Ohidul is saying, I'm from Bangladesh, but currently living in Singapore. Fantastic. Okay, Chris, wonderful. This is an ineffable version of the song Hallelujah from Leonard Cohen. I agree. Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah is an ineffable song. It stirs emotions in a way that's really hard to describe, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful song. So if you guys are not familiar with the song, go to the link Chris is giving us and check it out. It's fantastic. And by the way, Chris, the Canadian singer K.D. Lang also does a beautiful version of this. I think she first performed it, I want to say at the Olympics a few years back. The Winter Olympics in Vancouver. Okay, Theodore says, my younger days were in that ineffable city of Toronto. Yeah, Toronto is ineffable. Actually, I've been thinking about that lately, including today. I was thinking back to when I lived there. There's something ineffable about Toronto that I miss, even though Vancouver can be nice. There's something about Toronto that haunts my memory. Okay, guys, let's see some examples here. Okay, Adam says online learning is ineffable. Great. Very nice sentence. Online learning is ineffable. Anyone else have an example? Okay, Ohidul says, Dear sir, I want to know about latch on. Okay, we'll get to that. Can you make a sentence using ineffable? Let's see some examples here. Akash is with us. Akash Bishwakarma is from Nepal. And Akash says namaste. I think that's the traditional greeting from Nepal. Adam says, how do we know if the word is commonly used by English speakers? It's a good question, Adam. Let's pop that on the screen. How do we know if the word is commonly used by English speakers? I'll say two things about it. One, the best way to know that is to be around English speakers, okay? But remember, there's different categories or levels of English speakers. There's people who have a large vocabulary, highly educated people, and there's people who have a lower or a smaller vocabulary. They may not use certain words. But you have to be in an English context to see what's common. However, Adam, I would say this. Who cares if a word is common or not? If you can use it accurately, you should use it. The goal of English, or learning any language, is to communicate your ideas clearly and precisely so you can share your ideas with people. The goal isn't to sound like everyone else. That shouldn't be your goal, because not everyone else speaks well. So a word like this, you might not hear it every day, depending on who you hang out with, but it's a fantastic word. Okay, we also have Jasmine joining us. Jasmine, I think, is from Pakistan. We have Tirath with us from Nepal. Oh, Bargain Betty's got a nice sentence. My love of peanut butter is ineffable. Yeah, it's hard to describe how much Bargain Betty loves peanut butter. You know what, Bargain Betty? I learned that peanut butter makes an excellent bait for a mousetrap. I even put it on my mousetrap recently. However, I'm not sure it works because I haven't caught a mouse. Still looking for that mouse. I caught one mouse with the peanut butter. They don't actually like cheese. They go for peanut butter. Oh, Jasmine says she's from the United States. Okay. Jasmine also says, Chris says, yes. The live stream for Owen last Saturday was ineffable. a mutual friend of ours and mentor who taught me how to live stream. He's ill right now. He's got cancer and he's beating it, but he's using metabolic treatments that cost a lot of money. It's a food-based approach to beating cancer. And friends of his hosted a marathon fundraiser last weekend on YouTube, and it was fantastic. And by the way, his friends are the most famous YouTube teachers and gurus like Daryl Eves and Nick Nimmin. So they raised, I think, $100,000. Fantastic. It was ineffable. And that will pay for his treatments and help his family out. Okay, so Jasmine says the live show that you are doing right now is just ineffable because foreigners can learn something and improve their English skills. Thank you for saying that. That's a good sentence. Ted says, all the best. It's nice to see you have such an international audience. Exactly, and thank you, Ted, for contributing to it. Stay safe in Japan, please. Okay, guys, let's wrap up our segment. Words to use instead of good. Let's clear the graphic, and I've got a couple of questions to address. The first one is, which is correct? I heard the baby crying. Or, I heard okay. So this question, I believe, was from Wilson last week. So let's get to an answer. Get some fresh pens ready. Okay, so Wilson's asking which is correct. I heard the baby crying or heard the baby was crying. Well, the answer, Wilson, is that they are both correct, but they communicate a different idea. Let's break it down. And when I say that, I mean, let's identify the parts that are happening in this sentence, okay? Here we have a subject, I. We have a past tense verb, okay? And the verb heard is transitive, so it needs an object. It needs something, you need something to hear, right? So I heard what? Well, I heard this. I heard all of that. The baby crying. Now you'll notice baby is a noun and crying is a gerund noun. So they're both nouns. And we have an article. That means this whole thing is a noun phrase, which means it's not a clause. There's no verb. So it's not an idea. It's a thing. This whole piece is a thing. In fact, it's the thing you heard. So this is your direct object. I heard that. And if you're not sure, try testing it. Take that piece out and substitute it with another noun like the rain. I heard the rain. I heard the dog. I heard you. I heard Teacher Paul. All of those make sense because they're direct objects. They're nouns. This is a noun phrase. So this is the thing you heard. So this sentence is a person saying, in the past, I heard that. And that is a sound, right? So that's the thing you heard. Let's look at the next sentence. I heard the baby was crying. So we have a subject, we have a verb, we have an article, we have a noun. Now we have a verb. So this and this is a clause. So this is not just a noun, this is actually a subject. The baby was crying, right? So this is the other part of the verb. This is past, continuous or progressive, whatever you like to call it. Same thing, just a different name. Past progressive. I heard the baby was crying. Okay, so if you look at a timeline, this is like, it's a little bit incomplete. You could say, you need a past tense time adverb like yesterday. I heard the baby was crying yesterday. So here's yesterday and past progressive. I heard the baby was crying yesterday. Kind of like all day. But look at the structure of the sentence. I heard the baby was crying yesterday. So we have a noun, we have a verb, we have a two-part verb. That's a clause. So this is a clause. So who cares? It's a clause. But it's in the direct object position. So this is what we call a clause acting as a direct object, or a clause acting as a noun. It's a noun clause, which is similar to an adjective clause, a clause acting as an adjective. This is a clause substituting for an object, right? You can take that away and put, I heard the baby. I heard the dog. What does that mean? It means there's a piece missing here. Because when you connect a noun clause or an adjective clause, we have words like that to connect them. You're allowed to drop that if we have a subject, which we do, baby. So we can drop that, but it's there. It's implied. So this is a noun clause. I heard that the baby was crying yesterday. This is an idea. It's not a thing. That's a thing. That's a noise. This is not a noise. This is an event. This is a complete idea. Okay? So Saddam says, I heard the baby crying is correct. They're both correct, is what I'm telling you. These are both correct, but they are expressing a different idea. This one expresses the idea that I heard that noise. This is a noun. That's a noise. This is not a noise. This is news. This is an event that happened. It's a clause. The baby was crying. Okay? So the answer is they're both correct, but they use two different grammars. This is using a noun phrase. This is using a noun clause, a relative clause. A clause is an idea because it has a verb. Nadim says crying is not participle. You're right, it's part of the verb. Was crying, it's past progressive. Okay, let's move on, guys. I have one more question. Just let me clear the board. Someone else joining us? Did I miss someone? We have Nadim, Saddam, Tirath. Okay, let me clear the board, guys, and move to the next question. Somebody asked the question about using although. Do you guys know how to use although? It's okay if you don't, because we're going to find out. I think most students learn how to use although correctly. They know what it means. It's a way of showing contrast between positive and negative ideas, such as it is hot, or let's say it's too hot. It is too hot. Let's make it negative. It is too hot. So that's a negative idea. A positive idea would be I am streaming the show. Right? I love streaming this live show to you guys. I love it. Hello to YH from South Korea, and hello to Rocio from Mexico, and Leonora from Philippines, I think. Yeah. Okay, guys, so we have two sentences here. It is too hot. That's negative. Oh, it's hot. It's really hot. I am streaming the show. That's positive. So if I want to connect these ideas, I have to contrast the negative and the positive meanings. And one way to do that is using the word although. And by the way, you can use though as well. This means that you're going to contrast this with this, a negative with a positive, or a positive with the negative. It doesn't matter the sequence. But I find this happens, guys. A lot of students put a comma here. Although it is too hot, and then they put another comma here. Although it is too hot, I am streaming the show. Now, that might be correct in your language. Although it is too hot, I am streaming the show. In English, that's not correct. Totally not correct. When we contrast something in an English with two English clauses, we use one comma. That comma balances the negative and the positive. It contrasts them. It divides the sentence into two chunks, the negative and the positive, or the positive and the negative. This is the negative. This is the positive. We don't want to break this up. So no comma here, guys. No comma. Although it is too hot, comma, I am streaming the show. Listen to how that flows. Although it is too hot, I am streaming the show. Right? Or, although I am streaming the show, it is too hot. Okay? Your contrasting is kind of like a seesaw, like a children's seesaw on the playground. It balances. And that pivot point, or for you engineers out there, the fulcrum of that movement is one comma. Not one over here. Never. Okay? Just don't do it. Now, that brings up another issue. In fact, a more complex issue that I'd like to talk about. But before I talk about it, I will answer the question about latch on. Okay, so let me clear the board. So no comma after although. Never. Stop doing it. Stop. Stop. You wild and crazy comma users. Okay, so somebody asked about an expression latch on or latch onto. Let's see what I have here to... Oh, here's an example. I have here a little toy penguin, right? And behind it is a little seal, a little baby seal. You use the past tense to express this. The seal is latched onto the penguin, right? It's connected. It's latched onto the penguin, like baby seals do, I guess. I don't know. But babies certainly latch on to their mothers. To latch on means to hold. A latch, the noun latch, is like a connector. I don't have one handy here to show you, but it's any kind of connector that latches onto something, that connects to something. I thought I had something. I don't. Well, I have this. This is Ultraman. And I can show you how Ultraman is latched onto... Let's see if I can do this. He's latched onto the hammer, right? He's holding the hammer. Okay, Ultraman, or better yet, my hand. He's latched onto my hand. He's holding on. So if I do crazy movements, Ultraman stays latched on, right? He's latched onto me. Oh my, I have an Ultraman latched onto me. So to latch on means, or latched onto means, to hold or to connect. Now, that's a physical expression, but you can also use it metaphorically to talk about ideas. So I just explained the punctuation grammar for although. Did you latch onto it? Did you grab the idea? Did you understand it? So you can use it that. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do, guys, is continue talking about punctuation, because it comes up with that example, although. Nadim says, although is not used between both sentences. Well, it can be. right? I could say easily, I can say, I am streaming, although it is hot. And when you put it here, we do not need a comma anymore. Okay? Because that is a subordinate clause in the second position. You don't need a comma. So you can do that. No problem. Just don't put a comma. Adam's asking a good question. I want to know when to use the S for plural words. For example, winters. Let me get a fresh pen. Well, Adam, the answer is kind of simple, but it may open up another discussion. Winters, I'm going to shrink this. I have experienced I have experienced 54 winters. 54 is more than one, right? Yeah, a lot more. Well, that's how many winters I've experienced. I'm 55 years old. So I have lived through or experienced 55 winters. If it's more than one, I have to put an S here because winter is a countable noun, and countable nouns need to become plural when you're describing more than one. So it really depends on how many you have. That's the simple answer, Adam. Just like I have 2 pens. I have 2 pens. I can't say if I have 2 pen. No, I don't. I have 2 objects. That's more than one. So we have to use the plural. 2 pens, right? Okay. So Facebook users saying why they don't say 54 springs. Well, they can. Why not? You certainly can. 54 springs. More than one. Good morning, Robbie. Welcome back to the show. It all depends if the noun is countable or uncountable. So Adam says, I mean for the possessive. Well, that's different. Adam, come on now. That's different. That's apostrophe S. Okay? So let's go back to the plural pens. I have 2 pens here. Where do these pens come from? Did they fall from the sky? No, I bought them with money. So now they are mine. I own them. I possess them. So they are Paul's pens. Does that explain that, Adam? Or are you asking about plural, a plural possessive? Like, so we have, how many are watching right now? We have 15 students. So students is plural. And you guys have questions. You kind of own them. You didn't buy them, but you created them, so you own the questions. So questions is plural, but that's not an issue. These are the students, so plural, and the students own the questions, or the questions belong to the students. So we put apostrophe after the S. Okay? And if you want, you can sort of pronounce this like a Z now, because you're really communicating 2 S sounds. So you might hear people say, these are the students' questions, students' questions, students' questions, just to make sure it sounds different than just a plural. Okay? It's plural possessive. Plural S because it's plural students, and then possessive. Okay? That's how you do that. Abdullah is with us. Where are you from, Abdullah? Did you already say? I didn't catch that. Anyways, you want to know about going home or going to home? We've answered that on a previous show. I don't see it. Okay. Winter's long time. Does winter own the long time? We have a lot of questions happening here at once. When to use the S for plural words? For example, winter's long time. I can't see it now. Winter's long time got me thinking about skating. Okay. Okay. Yes, 1 second. Abdullah, you're asking about going home or going to home. We've answered that on several shows before. So what I'd like you to do is go to the YouTube channel and look for the recording of a previous show, and you'll see that in the title, and that'll answer it. Won't have time to answer that as well today. So winter's long time. Here's how this works. Is winter a noun? Yes, it's a noun. Is long time a noun? Yes, it's a noun. Okay, ask yourself this question. Can winter possess time? Both of these are abstract nouns. They're not objects, and they're not people. So they can't really possess. So if you read this somewhere, maybe literature or poetry, it's figurative. It's personifying. It's making this into like a human characteristic. In normal English, I wouldn't use this. I would simply say, the long winter. Right? The long winter got me. Now, I hope you're using this to mean past tense, because got is the past tense of get. It doesn't mean have. Got is not the same as have. I want you to understand that. Okay? I know Americans use got all the time to mean have, but it's really strange. If you look in the dictionary, got is the past tense of get, which means to receive. If I say I got 2 pens in my hand, that's strange. The past tense of receive doesn't mean I possess. Okay? Okay, let's move on here a little bit. So in answer to your question, I think it was Adam's question. Yeah. I wouldn't say it like that. It doesn't make sense. Winter's long time got me thinking about skating. What I'd like you to do, Adam, is go to my YouTube channel and look for the video called, the thumbnail says, using nouns as adjectives. Okay? Using nouns as adjectives. Because a lot of time we don't use the possessive. What we do is we put a noun plus noun, like, what's an example? Like coffee cup. Right? This is my coffee cup. This is a noun and this is a noun. But the coffee doesn't own the cup. So if you did this, coffee's cup, huh? Coffee doesn't own that cup, man. I do. I paid money for it. This is Paul's cup, not the coffee's cup. But this is a very common structure in English, using a noun and a noun. Coffee cup, computer mouse, water bottle. We talk about this almost every week, guys. Noun plus noun. It's one of the most common structures in English, so you need to understand it. We often use nouns as adjectives to describe this noun. It tells us what type of cup it is, right? It's a cup for coffee. So instead of saying winter's long time, you might say winter time. Winter time. Winter time. What kind of time? Winter time. Winter time is long, right? That's your subject. Subject, verb, adjective. Winter time. This is a noun. That's a noun. This is telling us what type of time. So that's a more natural structure and a more grammatically accurate structure. Okay? The long winter get me. No, Facebook user saying this sentence is a passive voice. Long winter get me. It's not passive. It's not passive at all. Let me just clear this, guys. Okay. Adam, the video is called, it's on my YouTube channel, and the thumbnail will say how to use nouns as adjectives or using nouns as adjectives. Try and find that. Or wait till I post this on YouTube, this recording, and I'll connect a little, little card so you can click right on it at this spot. Okay, the long winter get me. This is not passive, and it doesn't really make sense. Let me explain to you guys how to use get. If I go to the store, I can get food. Get means to receive, okay? So let's say, yesterday, I got, past tense, I received, I got an email from my boss. I got an email from my boss. I received it. Today, I have that email. I have it today. I possess it today because yesterday I received it. Can you see the difference? Or yesterday I got new shoes. Right? Yesterday I got new shoes. They were delivered. Right? I ordered them online. They were delivered yesterday. Yesterday I received them. That's the meaning of got. Today I have the shoes. Have them. I possess them. I own them. In fact, I can put them in my hands. I have them. It would be very strange to say, today I got shoes. It's really strange to say, I got pens in my hand. Okay? It's terrible English. Now, you'll hear a lot of Americans use it, unfortunately, and I'm sorry if any Americans are watching, but this is a grammatical error. Look in the dictionary if you don't believe me. Got is the past tense of get, which means receive. Doesn't mean possessive. Have is how we describe possession. I want to say hello to Mark Zeggers. What's up, Mark? How are you? Hopefully you and your family are doing well, staying safe, being cool. I'm confident you are. Okay, so get is the verb of to receive. Oh, I hope I get a good grade on my exam next week. I hope I get a good grade, receive a grade from my teacher. Yesterday, I got a bad grade. Have means possession now. Okay, it doesn't mean got. Let's keep that distinct. It's a big problem, guys, because in the US, even on TV, a lot of people use this. They use got when they should be using have. They'll say, I got pens. I got pens. They'll say, the Patriots got a good team. The Patriots got a good team this year. I like football, so I watch football, and people say this. Yeah, the Patriots got a good team this year. So this year means present. Got? How? Did you receive a good team in the mail, like my shoes from Amazon? No. The Patriots have a good team. They have a good team. Have is present tense. Yes, absolutely, Adam. Okay? So don't use got when you mean have. When you're trying to express possession, use have. I have 2 pens in my hand. I have a cloth in my hand. Okay? I don't got pens in my hand. The Patriots don't got a good team. I wouldn't say Vancouver got good weather today. That's weird. Vancouver has good weather. Actually, that's not even true. It's terrible weather today. There's smoke in the air. It's boiling hot. And Ultraman keeps latching onto my hand. I don't know why. He just keeps latching onto me. It's crazy. Okay. So Adam says, right, so God is always for something done already. Yes, it's the past tense of receive. Yesterday, I got an email. Yesterday, I got new shoes from Amazon. They came and I received them. That means today I have new shoes as a result. Now, here's where it gets tricky. And this is why it gets confusing. And this is why Americans chop it up. Yesterday, I got new shoes from Amazon. They were delivered. And as a result, today I have new shoes. I possess them. Have means possession. Got does not mean possession. It means reception. Remember that. But we can use present perfect because present perfect grammar is a way to express a past action that affects the present. So today I have something. What do you have? I have the result of the past action. And we make present perfect using 2 parts. Have plus the past participle of the verb. Have got. Follow me? So today I have them as a result of this action. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be got. We could use the verb received or bought. This could be any verb. But if you did receive it and you want to use got, you can with this because that's present perfect. And of course, what happens is we like to shorten things when we speak, so we often say, I've got new shoes. I have them today as a result of the past action. I've got. But here's what happens over time, or maybe when people don't learn this properly, both. We say that quickly, quickly, and especially in places like the US, where they like to keep things very short, oftentimes this gets lost. And they just say, I got new shoes. Hey, I got new shoes today. Or I got new pens, right? So that's what happens. Okay. Hopefully that clears that up, Adam. That was an excellent question. And like all good questions, it breaks open into other questions and other answers. So I was planning to talk about punctuation today, but we've run out of time for that. So I'm going to look at a couple of small questions we may be able to squeeze in. Okay, there's a good question. Which one's correct? I've got or I've gotten, right? So we said present perfect is made of the present have or has and the past participle. Well, you can use both. Both are fine. Okay, they're both fine. This is more often used in North America. And this is more often used in the UK. I have got new shoes, they might say in the UK. Here we would say, I've gotten new shoes. Which is better? To be honest with you, I like this one better. I'll tell you why. Because a verb has three forms, right? The base form, past tense, and past participle. We have get, the base form. We have got, the simple past tense. And if we use gotten, now we have three different forms. Clearly and distinctly, three different ones. If we use got, well, that's the same as the simple past tense, right? It's like run, ran, ran. That can lead to confusion. I like having three different words. Can't think of another example, but if you ask me my opinion, this is why this is good, because it gives us three different words. But you're allowed, right? You're allowed to use either one, whichever one you like better. I do like this because it takes away the confusion of this. If you use I've gotten, then you probably won't end up destroying it and saying, I gotten new shoes today, right? Because if you have a habit of using gotten, you won't get them confused and use got the way the Americans do. So I know that's confusing, guys, but my recommendation is to use gotten because it gives you three distinct participles. Get, got, gotten. So I think that is an advantage for clarity. Good question, Wako. Okay. Did I miss something back there? We have Zahirul asking about parallelism. I'd love to talk about parallelism. It's been on my mind a lot lately. However, we only have a few minutes left. I won't have enough time to really explain it. So I'm going to use that next week, okay? So please join next week. Okay, I think we've got all the questions covered. Lenora is asking a question here. I'm not sure I understand. What about this one, T. Paul? Can you pop that up? What about this one, T. Paul? On your screen. Yeah. Also, if in case it is not reconciled, you have to check each entry. I'm not sure what your question is, Lenora. What about this one? What? Okay, I'm going to put some links here because you're asking me some questions, guys, that are excellent, but I've already made videos that explain these way better than I can do on the show. So Abdullah is asking about present perfect and since and for. So I'm going to put a link to one of my videos, okay? Just give me a second to find it. Can we post links? I think we can. Okay, so here's a link to present perfect video that I made with my students. And I'll also post the one I mentioned to Adam about using nouns as adjectives. Okay. So the first one is about present perfect. The second one is about using nouns as adjectives. Facebook user is saying, may I know the next topic for next week? I don't really plan topics. I answer questions that you guys ask. Someone has asked about parallelism and commas and punctuation, so we are going to talk about that next week for sure. Double use of comma? Dai. Oh, Dai's here with us from Ecuador. Thank you, Dai. Great to see you. Lenora is asking about the double use of comma. Oh, in that sentence. Okay, let's do that. That'll take us to the end. Can we pop that back up? Well, the short answer, Lenora, is you can use 100 commas if you want, depending how long your sentence is. But this is why I want to spend some time talking about punctuation. There are some rules about where to use it and where not to. When I explained although, you can't put a comma after although there. But in your sentence, let's see what we can do. Also, if, in case, it is not reconciled, comma, you have to check each entry. Okay, this is correct. This is a good sentence. I'll show you why. Also is a transitional adverb or an adverbial conjunction, whatever you want to call it. What it does is it transitions us into a new sentence. And after that comes the subject. And here's the subject and the verb. So this is the main clause. So we have also to transition from the last sentence. You're adding a new idea. So comma. If in case it is not reconciled, then we have a comma here because now we have a second clause, subject and verb. Okay, so we have two clauses. And this one is the subordinate clause. So it's not independent. And this one is the independent clause. Okay, this one depends on this one. And the way to check is this. Look at this sentence in isolation. You have to check each entry. That's a complete idea. If you say this one alone, if in case it is not reconciled, that's not a complete idea. It wants more because of this expression, if in case. It's like saying because. Because it is not reconciled, it's asking for more information, okay? So this is a dependent clause or a subordinate clause. This is the main clause, which means this pattern, dependent, comma, independent. And if you have the dependent one over here, you do not need a comma, okay? But none of that is related to also. So you need that comma to separate the dependent clause from the independent clause, okay? Because the comma tells us you don't know the main clause yet. You don't know the main subject yet. It's next, okay? This one is just an adverb. You could put a time here, yesterday, comma. And the way to know that is this is not essential. You could cut that out and have a good sentence, right? This is extra. It's a transitional connector from the last sentence. So you can use that comma and you have to use this one. That's two commas in a sentence. There's no rule about how many commas you can have or not have. Depending on how long your sentence is, you can have 1,000 commas, right? Sentences, there's no limit either. You can have 1,000-word long sentence. Let's talk about this next week because we will need more time to explain it. Because the rules of punctuation, where to use it and where not to use it, can be a little tricky and it needs some time to go through. Facebook user, thank you for saying that. I've never seen professional class like you do, Mr. Paul Duke. Thanks a lot. It's okay to put compliments on screen, make me feel good. Facebook user says, hi, Paul, I meet you on online class. Okay, if you want to meet me on online class, I need to know your name. So connect with me on Facebook and send me a message. Professor Wilson says, why don't I see this? Or they say, I got you. Yeah, so Wilson's using it, I got you, or you got this. You got this, dude. Yeah, it's terrible grammar, but it's become such a common expression because it probably appeared in an American movie that everyone uses it. But I want you guys to know, because you're learners, I want you to know that that is terrible English. It doesn't matter if it's used in a movie. It doesn't matter if President Trump says it. It's garbage English. I'm here to tell you that. That's terrible grammar, and you should not copy it. Unless you're using it for a fun expression. Dude, I got you. Right? If you mean it like that, ironically, then it's okay. Because it says to the listener, you know it's bad grammar, but you're going to use it anyway. Okay? For effect, for fun. But don't write like that and don't speak like that when you're trying to use good English. Okay? Because it's garbage English. It's terrible. And if you keep using it, I'm going to send Ultraman in there to latch onto your arm and never leave you until you stop using it. Okay? So don't use that. It's terrible. I got you. You got this. These are expressions that go out there in the culture, and they're okay for using them for fun. Problem is, learners trying to learn English hear that and they go, "Oh, a native speaker said it, so it must be good." Not necessarily true. Native speakers say a lot of dumb things. Don't copy them. Now, I'm preparing a new video series about exactly this problem. It's called English Confidential. So if you want to learn what things native speakers say that you should avoid, watch English Confidential. I have one episode up, and I will put the link in. And this series explains bad English used by native speakers that you guys don't want to copy. Because if you copy it, you will not sound like a smart person. You will sound like you don't know your English. Okay? Adam's asking a great question. What's a better expression than, I got you, dude? Yeah, if you don't want to sound like an idiot, and I'm assuming you don't. I know Mark Zegers doesn't want to sound like an idiot. Instead of saying, I got you, why don't you just say, cool, I understand. Right? Or if you want to be correct in your English, say, I've got it. I have got it. That's correct grammar. I've got it. I've got it. Or, if you want to be simple and punchy, say, understood. Right? Or if you want to have a laugh, you want to say something kind of interesting and ironic, why don't you use the military expression, which is copy that. Or Roger. Right? When someone says something in the military on a radio, they want to know that the person understood the message. The person is supposed to say Roger or copy that. So if I say, get that helicopter in the air, the other person says, Roger that, or copy that. It means they copy it. They understand it. That's way cooler than saying, I got you, with bad grammar. Bad grammar is bad grammar. Don't use bad grammar. It'll make you sound dumb. You guys don't want to sound dumb. Yeah, Mark's asking about it. Mark, I'm going to save that because we're out of time. It's great to see you on the show, but we have to go because it's boiling hot in the studio and my camera is about to melt. So guys, I'm going to stop the questions now. I've got them recorded on the thread. So if I haven't answered your question tonight, I'm sorry. Time is limited. It takes time to break things down. I will get to it next week, okay? So thank you all for joining. I'm going to run through the list of thank yous. Lots of people joined tonight from all kinds of cool countries. We had Chris from Belgium, Betty from the Moon, Wako from Japan, Professor Wilson from Ecuador. We had Roni from Bangladesh, Mohedin from Bangladesh, Jessica from Mexico, Adam from the West Indies, St. Vincent and grenadine. We had Kika from Peru. Kika, by the way, once gave me this beautiful present, right? Beautiful present from her country. Look at that. Just fantastic. Thank you, Kika. This is a gift from my former student, Kika, from Peru. Okay. Also, thank you, Ohidul from Singapore, Ted from Japan, originally from Canada, Akash from Nepal, thank you, Jasmine from the USA, Tirath, my friend from Nepal, Saddam from Bangladesh, Nadim from Bangladesh, I think, Waiha from South Korea, Rocio from Mexico, Lenora from the Philippines, Rabi from Bangladesh, Abdullah from Bangladesh, Rai from Pakistan, Zahirul from Pakistan, Mark Zeggers from Toronto, or Montreal, Toronto, Tanzid, I don't know where Tanzid is from, Sally, where are you from? Sally's from Japan, I think. Remember, guys, when you join the show, always say hello and tell us where you're from. Sally, if it's the Sally I know, you're from Japan. We had Di from Ecuador, and Leah K. Leah, I'm sorry, I don't know where you're from. So either tell me now or you'll have to tell me next time. Guys, we have to go. But in the meantime, I want you to keep hammering on your English, keep studying, keep learning, keep thinking of questions to ask, keep reviewing. Hey, watch my videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel, right? Lots of answers there, guys. There's lots of great videos that I make with my students, and they work really hard to explain these things, a lot of which you're asking. So look for the series called English Weirdness. English Weirdness has great explanations about these problems of grammar. Some of them that we talked about today, like present perfect. In the meantime, guys, we're going to get going. Hiroko Nakahara, just joining the show. Hiroko, we're just saying goodbye, so thank you for joining. Hopefully you'll join earlier next time. Thank you all for joining, guys, from all your different countries. It's wonderful to have you with us every week. In the meantime, I'd like you to stay cool, stay hot, stay away from the heat wherever you are. Yes, and stay safe, guys. We're not through 100% the COVID problem yet. So get vaccinated. If you're one of those people that are afraid of getting vaccinated, don't. Be afraid of the COVID virus, okay? Normally, I wouldn't bring this kind of thing up on the show, but it's a big problem out there. Get vaccinated. The vaccines are not the problem. They are the solution. COVID is the problem. Get vaccinated. Stay safe, guys. And until next time I see you, stay cool.